Ahmed, Nlaka'pamux. How are you all? Deelahah. My name is Deelahah. Durch Gugspali at Laakwan. Durch Nlaka'pamux. I come from Spence's Bridge. I come from a small place called Dry Creek. Njia Nshkatsa Atlanshkiza. That is where my mother and father live. Spabza Atlankiza Durchspepsen Atlakush. My grandmother and my grandfather came from Spatsum. Spepsen is Spatsum. I lived there in Nlaka'pamux for 20 years. And then I moved to Springs, which is in your area here, near the Logan Lake turnoff. The best role model in my life, I think, has been both my parents and my grandparents. Not necessarily in that order, because it goes back and forth now and again. But since they were my teachers from the very beginning of my life, especially my mother and father, I would guess that my mother and father probably have equal role there in my heart as my teachers. And more lately, I have been reviewing some of my teachings from my grandparents, and I realize that I have had many lessons along the way from my grandparents as well. And of course, I would be remiss in not mentioning many of the people I've met over the years. You know, when I married into the valley here way back in 1961, there were many people in the valley that I feel were my teachers, and some of them are like May Vogt. I don't know if you know May or whether you'll be speaking with her. Mabel, Joe, Louisa, Sam, some of the elders that have already passed on as well. So I considered them my teachers, and then as I went to university, I had many other teachers who were university teachers. So over the years, I've had many, many teachers, and I again would be remiss if I didn't say my entire family were my teachers, including my relatives and my children, and all the people that they interacted with. In my daily life, I use the Nlaka'pamux language not as frequently as one might guess. I feel that my language was replaced by English the minute I went to school, way back in 1947. That was many years ago. However, I learned English during that time, so I have a good capacity, I think, for my initial language, my birth language. I use it nowadays in little stories with my husband. We live together alone, and we occasionally speak it together. And then sometimes I talk to students like yourselves or other family members in our language. Many times we tell jokes in it because we can hide on each other with jokes sometimes too. Like my husband and I will want to say something that may be a joke or something, maybe not so kind as to say something to someone, and we will hide our remarks as a little joke. So it's interesting and fun. I love to talk the language. I have helped many people relearn the language in my own family, and I'm still helping teach my sisters how to regain their language. I have a sister who's taking her master's degree in relearning her language, because when she went to residential school, when she was 8 years old, she replaced her language with English, and she doesn't speak the language as well as I do, so I'm able to help her relearn the language. So that's how I'm using Nlaka'pamux myself, and I really enjoy that because I went to the extent that I wrote a thesis for my doctorate when I turned 65 years old. I took my doctorate in University of British Columbia, and I wrote a book about the teachings of the Nlaka'pamux grandmothers. And I have a book that's published. It's called the Nlaka'pamux Grandmothers, and it's available from Amazon or in the library here. So that's how I've used the language and continue to use the language. I feel it's very important, and I want all our Nlaka'pamux people to learn it. If they could, it would be tremendous, because I really believe that there are teachings in our language that have been hiding on people, and one has to get the language from an Nlaka'pamux speaker to finally understand each word. One word can have many meanings. It's not like English, and in a way it is, because if you look at the Webster Dictionary too, you can see all kinds of different ways you can say one word, and it is the same in our language. So it's, in my view, very special to us as Nlaka'pamux people to learn Nlaka'pamux, and that is my wish and desire for our people. Do I dream in a language? Akin ikula. I don't know. That is a very interesting question. I love it. I will start remembering if I do or not. I've never thought about it. So I could say this, I really don't know, because it has never occurred to me to remember. And I do have interesting dreams, and I feel that in our culture, in Nlaka'pamux, we do have dreams and we have visions. And I think that many of us have to become aware to realize how we dream. So thank you. Thank you for that question. I really appreciate it, because now I will become more aware and cognizant of what I am dreaming when I wake up.